Back in the show, Brian Alvarez here, Wrestling Observer Live. Jim Valley joining us here today in an interview with TMZ posted Friday morning. Roman Reigns said the reason he is home instead of active in WWE is not due to health concerns, but rather it is his two newborn twin sons that have his full attention. They're 8 weeks old, so I had to make a decision for them, he said, before reiterating his love for the business. The 34-year-old addressed speculation that his absence was due to concerns about how COVID-19 could affect his immune system due to his past fights against leukemia, but he said that is not the case. Talking to my doctors and stuff, I actually am fine, and my immune system is good. The drugs that I take to fight the leukemia, they don't attack your immune system. In a last-minute decision while in Orlando, Florida, Reigns pulled out of his match with then WWE Universal Champion Bill Goldberg at WrestleMania 36, has not been on TV or mentioned on television since. His last match was a six-man tag with the Usos on a March 1st house show. He has no idea when he'll be back in WWE and is focusing on his growing family instead. I want to be out there. I want to get back to work. I want to get back to normal. But I just feel like I have an obligation not only to my family and myself, but to my community. Also, to set an example, because at the end of the day, we can do a lot of different things and say a lot of different things, but it's through our actions that really speak volumes. That's what I'm trying to do. So, what's he saying here? He's staying home because of his children, but he's also staying home to set an example. The example that maybe he shouldn't be wrestling right now, or there shouldn't be shows. I'm not sure exactly what he's saying here, but he is claiming it is not due to health issues here.
What does he mean by community, too? Is he talking about where he lives, his town?
I don't know.
His family, who is very entrenched in the history of professional wrestling? It is a little vague there, but I don't think the timing is by accident, Brian Alvarez. I think that it probably is, TMZ coordinates with a lot of things, WWE. If you remember, when Fred came out, what was his name on wrestling? I don't even remember anymore. They found him at the airport, and he, talked about that he was gay, and it was a big coming out story, even though it was completely
Fred
planned.
Rosser.
Yes, Fred Rosser. Thank you. It's not an accident that TMZ gets in touch with Roman Reigns. That's for sure.
Well, they got in touch with him. Obviously, there is a degree of damage control here, but there's still a lot of questions we don't have answered, such as why is his name erased from history on WWE television? Why are video packages edited so that he's not in them, even though he was involved in a finish that they changed history for? Why did Roman Reigns, at the last minute, leave WrestleMania and not do his match with Goldberg? He was there that day to tape, and he left. I got to sneeze. A lot of questions here. A lot of questions.
Yeah, he didn't just leave because suddenly his wife was in labor. That didn't happen. It's funny how these stories come out where they focus on one thing and you go, oh, well then, gee, Roman Reigns, who's a very nice man, obviously is telling the truth, but there's an omission there. And you make a great point. They don't answer the question, why did he leave suddenly?
Why did he leave, and why is he not coming back? I mean,
right.
Wrestlers, I'm not trying to be callous here. I'm just pointing out a fact that, wrestlers have children all the time.
Like Bryan Danielson.
They go right back to work. And Roman Reigns is here not going back to work, and he has an obligation to his family and his community. He didn't even say I have an obligation only to my family and my daughters. It's also to his community. So it is a very interesting statement that he made, but the gist of the whole deal is he's not back. And
when he says community, does he mean like other wrestlers, like setting an
I don't
example?
know. I don't know. But anyway, that's the story.